All exits have been secured. There's been no resistance, Bayan. This place is trashed, and whoever cleaned up after, they just left the bodies to rot, but appear to have stripped out or destroyed all kinds of alchemical and artificing gear. Removing the evidence, that's what they cared about. Gundaram?
I can sense him. The gnome was here, but not recently. I think it's clear that...
Wait, it's the director.
Have you located the gnome from the Tamburo incident?
They found an abandoned base, some kind of magitech laboratory. Based on Gundaram's reading, the psychic impressions show that it was destroyed in violence months ago, and that this one-eyed gnome returned after that, but I think it was only to cover his tracks.
He has not returned since Tamburo.
No. I am afraid we are no closer to finding him, Director.
Very well. Gundaram can take over there. Scour the base for any clues, any evidence they might have missed. You, Bayan, return here to Bangtan, and we will start over from scratch. The Academy cannot tolerate this gnome's dangerous experiments, much less his attacks on our communities.
As you wish, Director. Tales from my RPG campaign, Sea of Secrets. The tiny explorers faced no resistance in leaving the tunnels, and soon the party are back on the trail of the sailors. But they start noticing disordered footprints, like something had happened up ahead. Signs of a fight.
Captain Parr!
Malira, I'm so sorry.
No one touched the crime scene. More mystery wounds? I've seen plenty of wounds like this. This one was not done by animals.
Our trophy-leaving friend seems to be moving around the jungle like it's a slasher movie.
The killer with the irregular bite.
No, this killing blow was done with a sword. More asshole druids. Maybe.
Margot has a sword. The first mate.
It's like a Lord of the Flies here. Detect magic.
There are no magic items around, but similar to the chest you found in the captain's quarters, there's a faint glow hinting at
the orb. That must be where he was holding it.
And they killed him for it.
Some of the winners were injured too. Looks like they just kept going.
Going wherever the orb wants to go.
What is that thing doing to them? That they would... Everyone liked Captain Parr. That I knew of.
How long did he have that stupid thing?
From what she said, can't have been more than a few weeks.
So when we find it, we should have some time before we start going crazy. That's good.
Yeah, great. Just enough time for the Sea Wing to return, then insanity kicks in. 2 hours further down the path, Adria paused.
I can hear the fungus guys communicating under us. Just enough to tell. The dark border, the edge of their network, should be just over that way.
Yeah, I think I remember... There! One of their tunnel entrances.
You want to check it out?
Maybe later. But if we enter that clearing and you guys all die, I know where I'm running to.
The edge of the Mushroom People's psychic network, the black void Blue had sensed while touching their glowing root, corresponded to a 100-foot wide clearing in the forest. It didn't take much investigating to see why there were no trees here.
That's no hill. It's a dome.
So that's their Forbidden Zone thing?
This is definitely the place the mushrooms avoid.
This dome is only a corner. The dark area extends much farther, outwards and down.
It must be ancient. Imagine how long it must take for dirt to cover over a dome 20 yards across. Look! Supplies!
Looks like they set up some kind of base camp here to head down this big crack in the dome.
Base camp is a charitable description.
This place has a powerful concentration of essentia. I don't like it.
Essentia?
My type of magic, if you want to call it that. The tapestry is everywhere. Another layer of reality.
Like the astral or the ethereal?
Yes, but there's a noticeable gathering of that energy, of essentia, below us.
So this place is strong with the dark side?
It's nearly impossible to create an area of pure evil or good essentia. Different alignments, emotions, any concentration naturally tends to spread out over time to restore balance in the tapestry. But yes, I feel like this place does have a bias toward fear, vengeance, and other ugliness. I wonder what's holding it together.
Sounds a little scary, but very much worth researching.
And this is where the orb led all those people. That sounds great.
It's unsurprisingly dark down the hole, though as your eyes adjust, you can make out faint flickers of light, reflections, suggesting there is water down there. Way down. I poke my spear in the hole. You know, just to check for traps. I see some shadow closer to the top.
It's a big pillar supporting the dome. That makes sense. That would make sense, but no, the pillar doesn't reach the top. It's carved like a snake is winding around it, but there's no head. Maybe it's unfinished?
How far down is the bottom?
I can't see the floor with my dark vision, so more than 60 feet deep.
There's enough light for me to see the pool of water, about 100 feet down. Should I jump? Down 100 feet into water of unknown depth? I can tumble out of it.
I think I can make out some dry floor, too, so probably not a full underwater dungeon.
Okay, maybe hold off on the dive. Adria casts invisibility and spider climb on herself, creeping down the outer walls, while Misho blinks onto the pillar with his Warp Panther ability. Despite being clearly unfinished, the thick column, 4 yards across, feels perfectly stable. The pair of them scout down to the floor, where the water seems to have pooled in one corner of the domed chamber, but it doesn't reach the 2 massive vaulted hallways, save for one flooded channel down the side of the east hall. Lots of smaller archways down the sides. I still don't see any movement.
You guys might as well come down here.
Pelor descends the rope no problem, pole vaulting at the bottom to avoid the water, while Malira the sailor seemed perfectly comfortable climbing and sliding down the 100-foot line. But climb is based on strength, so Jagad, Jinx, and Blue needed a little help from Adria's floating disc. Well, you all make it down safely, no problem, unless Pelor jumps. Dancing lights. Look at this place. This stonework is very old, archaic. It's not dwarven, not the elven or eladrin either. Too crude.
What's that doorway on the other side of the pool?
That smaller tunnel? It was a stairway, but looks like that's where most of this water leaked in. Look here. The west wall is marked as though they planned a third large hall, like these ones.
So the snake column isn't the only thing that's unfinished.
No writing that I can see.
Huh.
That's a little disappointing, but this is just the lobby.
Can I get a sense of direction for that unsettling energy?
I want to say it's the whole area, but now that you're down here, the feeling is somewhat stronger down the North Hall. There's ample evidence of people emerging from the water, mainly heading northward. But the light that way was so faint that only Misho and Adria could make it out, and their attention was drawn instead toward a pair of much closer torches down the east passage.
Lot of alcoves here.
Yet a distinct lack of tombs, sarcophagi. Distinct lack of loot, you mean?
Huh. Nothing exciting up here either.
Looks like there were furnishings before 1,000 years of jungle humidity. Hey, what are those lights by the entrance?
Hello, are you from the Wispy Lass?
Well, yes. Are you some kind of rescue party?
We literally are, yes.
Yes, we came to help. And help ourselves to whatever's in this temple. Oh, hey, Malira, you made it too? I thought you were staying with the lass.
There's nothing left for me there.
Except possibly fish people. Is it just the 2 of you? Where are the others? The 2 sailors look at each other.
We started thinking we might be better off on our own.
Things with the others were getting weird.
Like Donner Party weird?
I don't understand that reference, but people we know well,
Most of them friends.
did some things that didn't seem like them.
Like what happened with
You killed Captain Parr!
Not us. We didn't.
It was bad. It got all confused. The Captain, he was leading us to...
To here, I think.
But he started getting all weird about the orb. Almost like he didn't want it anymore. But he also refused to give it to anybody else.
We was all getting impatient because we wanted what he had promised. After hacking our way for days to...
And that's when Margot...
Well, Margot drew her blade and told the captain he had to take the orb the rest of the way or give it to her and she would.
Parr hesitated and
It just happened so fast.
his fingers quivered on the orb. Maybe he was clutching it tighter, or maybe he was reaching to hand it over.
But Margot took it as the wrong one.
Dirk, he backed up Captain Parr and got stabbed in the melee. Can't even say who did it. And Margot, well, she's just too big and strong. Looked to me like in the last moment when she got one of her claws on the orb, he dropped his sword to grab it with both hands, and Marg cut him down.
And that was that.
I think everyone was shocked, even Margot. But she looked around, said a few words.
Basically, there's no turning back.
So, on we went.
So, what's the raft for?
Well,
The pair of sailors had been attempting to build a shoddy raft out of bits and scraps of wooden debris from the alcoves, hoping to cross the murky water without getting bitten by snakes, or worse. Blue, using his empathy power and a sense motive roll of 29, was satisfied that they weren't lying about the captain, the orb, any of that, but they were still hiding something.
wait, I just sensed something else. I feel something too. Like a presence that has just taken notice of us. All my hair's standing on end.
Which for Misho is a lot of hair. What's wrong?
I'm not sure. Hold on. Wait!
Blue has just enough time to grab onto Misho before the totemist leaps across the water and scales the wall to an arch on the second level, where he had sensed more than seen a faint blue glow. Even as they approach, though, the glow pulls away. They find that this alcove, unlike the one Misho had checked earlier, had a hole in the back, a rough-carved tunnel about a yard across.
So it is big enough for even me to crawl through. But, let's send the blue guy. Sure, looks comfy.
Hey, do you see that? There are little gems in the carved snake's eyes. Really? Because the snakes on the other side of the hall don't have gems. No gems, but now that you mention it, the eye sockets are a little scuffed up. So that's what these two have been up to. Just as Blue starts to move, you catch a glimpse of other lights, different colors, from another alcove on the far side of the hall. Or you think you saw them. By the time you turn to get a proper look, they're gone. Well, this is creepy as shit. Can we leave?
There's something strange using these tunnels to hide.
Yeah, they're all gonna come out and attack us, but not until the worst possible time. Or when we try to leave. Lee? Roy? I think you'd better put all those gems back in the eyes right now, cause shit's about to go down. Gems? What gems?
Whatever, I'll just walk into this big spacious tunnel, and I'm gonna hammer whatever's in there.
What if it's a 3-foot diameter snake with its mouth open?
Nom, nom, nom. Then I'll hammer it from the inside.
The crude tunnel curves, bending back toward the main hall, but the blue glow kept zipping around the bend, always just out of view. Blue's empathy power could sense curiosity from it, but also worry.
Hey, come back. You're blue like me.
Following the tunnel, you come out of a different alcove over here, and as far as you can tell, the ball of light is gone.
Wait, why'd you bring me here? Guys, I'm over here. I found a whole lot of nothing.
So it's just a blue ball of light? Is it a will-o-wisp or some shit?
Something like that. Told you I'm not crazy. There was a blue glowing thing, at least one, and other color too. I for sure saw a red one. How much you want to bet the red ones are evil? I did feel something like that curiosity you mentioned, and some darker sensations from across the way. I think we might be seeing manifestations of the essentia, the energy I mentioned earlier.
And that means?
I have no idea. This is what I get for introducing a new magic system to the setting with my totemist class. Now we have all new weirdness to deal with.
Now that they knew what to look for, the party found several more of those curved side tunnels, but they had no obvious purpose. Every one blue checked just looped back to the main hall, so they returned to their main objective. Where are the other sailors? With the orb?
They went down the other hall, across those old fire pits.
And you just split up to steal snake-eye gems.
No, it's just things feel really off with the group since the captain. And when Jeff got hit by that trap, it was just too much. We drew the line.
Trap? Hold on. What's this about a trap?
Don't worry, these two are going to show us.
I'll bluff that you'll be fine. We'll do everything in our power to protect you.
Why is that a bluff?
There was a large room at the end of this hall, and a quick peek revealed multiple doors leading off of it. But that felt like the wrong direction. So instead, they marched back to the entrance.
Trap's just at the end of this hall. The area between that last fire pit
The fourth pit.
and the door. Stepping anywhere in that area causes darts to shoot out of the walls.
Traps are usually where you find all the good stuff.
How did your friends get past it?
I'm guessing red shirts.
Alright, we're putting together a team. Kirk, Spock, Bones, and Ensign number 4.
When the first sailor out of the fourth pit was hit by the darts, Margot had organized the others to gather whatever scraps they could find in the fire pits to make crude shields. But by the time the Drac had her shields and worked her way to where Jeff had fallen, he was already dead. After pressing these two for anything else they knew about the trap, the party left the sailors to their gem hunting and began working their way down the hall. These fire pits had probably been quite imposing once upon a time, each 10 feet wide and deep, but the charcoal and dust at the bottom probably hadn't seen fire in 1,000 years. They could see the sooty trails left by sailors climbing down and back up, though it was trivial for Misho and Pelor to leap the gaps. How much do you weigh, Blue?
Like 20 pounds? Sorry, little more. Call it 30 with equipment.
You weigh less than my gear,
So Misho could easily carry you.
sure, if you want to get all sweaty.
They said everything on that side of the pit could trigger the dart traps.
Everything up to the door.
Let me take a look. Adria floated over, searching for traps. Find anything? Found the too much. I could probably disarm these, but looks like every 4th or 5th tile is a pressure plate, and not in a simple pattern either. Would take me all day to clear a path.
And if you roll that many times, eventually you'll get a few ones.
I bet if I just run through at full speed, I could make it. With my AC, I'd be dodging arrows all over. Your funeral. They crossed the safe way on Adria's magical disc, sliding off through the doorway where the floor appeared to be safe again. Through the door, you find a big pit.
Jeffrey.
And the body of the sailor who found the trap has been dragged over here. Cause of death? Arrow. Cause of death going first.
Assholes. If they'd left the body where he'd fallen, that would have revealed the trap to anybody who came after. Maybe they were trying to save him.
I'm guessing they dragged him to safety as quickly as they could, but it was too late. Whoa! This is a real pit, not like those shitty fire pits.
This is Sparta!
It's about a 20-yard diameter, and although the stone here around the edge has been worked, most of the pit looks natural. So they chose to build around this pit, or discovered it during construction. Think it's a sarlacc or a this is no cave? Oh, speaking of Star Wars, there are no railings, just this 10-foot wide stone pathway curving around it.
How deep is it?
I can't see the bottom.
Not even with low light vision. We can throw the body down the pit and find out, but I'm gonna need a hand.
That won't help. I'll light an arrow and shoot it down. The light streaks down 100 feet, 200, and beyond, then hits something, causing it to bounce off to the side where it lands out of view. No stairs, ladders, or clear path down. Rough surface is technically climbable, but too dangerous at this height. I have ways down, and more importantly, back up if needed, but all I see is a big pit with a pile of rock at the bottom.
Okay, well, let's leave this for now. Put a pin in it.
There's a closed stone door opposite where they had come from, but Jagad is drawn to the open doorway, midway around the pit.
Hey, don't get ahead of us. There could be more traps.
Look at these murals. A volcano, flaming meteor, fire raining down onto animals.
Or people.
Fascinating.
I'm no expert, but this doesn't really fit the snake motif.
Then again, we did just pass all those fire pits.
Looks apocalyptic.
Lots of religions worship fire to some extent. For Moradin, it's the forge. For Marduk, it's the crucible. Dead gods like Tiamat or Pelor.
You rang?
Sorry, I didn't mean you, but you know, the old sun god you're named after. Of course, the god Pelor no longer exists, and even back when people worshipped him, I don't think it looked like this.
These ruins have had very little writing.
Writing is overrated.
It almost looks like there are some kind of characters hidden artistically in these flames. But if so, it's either too artistic or it's not in any language I know. Let's see. Can I use comprehend the languages on this? Your spell does work on writing. Now, I house ruled that if a language is no longer spoken, very old stuff like this, the spell isn't automatic. You still need to roll Decipher Script skill, and the DC is very high. However, Comprehend Languages gives you plus 20, which takes a near impossible roll and makes it, possible. I rolled a 13, plus 4 from my skill, so with the plus 20, that's 37. The fires will burn, the fires will take all, the fires will bring all to Delvash. The god of evil?
Well, a god of evil.
That motif repeats around the room, but this bit on the door says, "This is a trap." It says, "The fires will purify. The fire shrine allows only the faithful." Almost sounds like some kind of test or puzzle.
Trial by fire.
I don't think the sailors tried this door. Judging by this dust? No.
Plus, that looks like the way forward in the dungeon. We've got to go back for the full clear.
I came here for my friends. You came for the orb. Neither are here.
I think they took one look in here, didn't like what they saw, and went to that other door instead, beside the pit.
As you head back to the chamber with the great pit, though, you see rising out of the pit a snake 50 feet around, a bunch of small glowy spheres.
Oh!
Are they blue? The blue ones seem friendly enough.
The spheres were not blue, nor were they friendly. There were two larger ones, almost as big around as the blue goblin was tall. One orangey red and one purplish. Each was surrounded by a number of smaller, baseball-sized spheres of the same color.
Purple are cruel. Reddish, they want to cause trouble. That's what I'm getting from my empathy power. These things are made of essentia.
Huh?
My people access the tapestry by communing with the essence of great beasts and other ancestors. But I've heard of others who form soul melds without such bonds, instead aligning themselves with concentrations of good or evil, lawful or chaotic essentia. That's what these remind me of.
So how do we fight them?
I have no idea, but if they attack, I'm going to try ripping them apart. Well, if they're made of emotion or evil or whatever, they probably aren't immune to mind affecting. Mind thrust!
The big red ball of rage is not immune,
but it does make its saving throw, and the balls swarm the party, zapping them with point-blank blasts of mental energy. The tiny ones are minions, which only hit for 2 damage, but each hit inflicts a -1 to everything debuff for 1 round.
Is that physical damage or...
No, your damage reduction doesn't work against this. It's the same type of damage as your Mind Thrust. They're hitting you with hatred. Until your initiative comes up in the first round of combat, you are considered flat-footed, meaning you can't take reactions yet. So Pelor is unable to use his many opportunity attacks as they swarm in on him. He gets zapped for 5 by a big one, while Misho gets hit for 2 before he whips around and pops 2 of the minions with his claws.
Ugh, it's like cutting through evil sponges.
What's Adria's AC?
17 with mage armor.
Miss, miss, miss. These 3 buzz around you like flies, but accomplish nothing. Jinx?
I start singing Nelly Furtado's Turn Off the Light. They say that girl, you know, she act to...
Gonna turn these guys off? How many of these can I hit in a 30-foot cone? That's a huge area. Does it hit friendlies?
Well, that's the problem.
Nerf you?
It's a non-lethal.
To hit all of them, you'd catch Blue, Pelor, and Misho. But Adria could easily target just the 3 around you. I'll try to get all of them.
What?
50-50 chance to pop each of those minions? It's the most efficient move. 2d6 non-lethal damage, will 15 negates.
I need to roll a 14... I passed! Both of Blue's minions and one of Adria's dissipate, but against the odds, the rest all passed their saving throws, obnoxiously taking no damage, while Blue and Misho each took 9. Though this spell's non-lethal damage is quite a bit easier to heal than normal damage.
Okay, we're not friends anymore.
She, helped get some off of you?
Yeah, I'm fine. Still gonna mind thrust you in your sleep, though. Trying not to rage.
Pelor misses his attack, but because the floating spheres were too small to threaten opportunity attacks of their own, he twirled away from them. Meanwhile, though Blue had been hit by their debuff, his build almost didn't care about the broad-based stacking penalty. But when he tried to Mind Thrust again, it saves. They only have about a 50-50 chance.
You roll f***ing awesome on the saves.
Especially against you. Don't know why.
I don't have the stats for touch attacks, but starting to question my all saving throw spells build.
Theoretically, the chances should even out, but I know for me, it feels less bad to roll and miss a bunch of attacks than for the GM to roll and pass a bunch of saves. It's all psychological. When you roll the die yourself, it feels like you're in control. The big purple one lashes Blue for 6 damage, then flies off, curving its path to avoid Pelor.
Carl. Did it say Carl? Who's Carl?
The red spheres swarm Pelor again, but this time he's not flat-footed, so his combat reflexes ability gives him an attack of opportunity on each enemy moving through his reach. Miss! Miss? Damn it! Not the 3rd one. Pop. It's gone. But another little one zaps you for 2, and -1 to everything. I don't need minuses, I already can't even... I'm going to chase after purple and shoot it.
I don't think you need to chase with a ranged weapon.
It's running for the hall. I need to be close enough to reach the doorway, so I don't lose sight next round.
Hit for 5. Your arrow hits, but is partially deflected. It only deals a little damage.
They must have 2 or 3 points of damage reduction.
I'll stab the big one. No! Why is just hitting enemies so tough?
Pelor? Miss.
Change dice.
You change dice.
Pelor's changed dice 3 times. Dice aren't the problem.
I'm used to fighting people, okay? People have legs, arms, heads, stuff to attack. He's got nothing but balls.
Then hit them in the balls.
Okay, I mind thrust that running purple asshole.
You just needed to roll less than 10.
Yes! Take 16 damage.
Well, if your DR doesn't work against their mental damage, then their DR doesn't work against you. Not sure what bloody looks like for these things.
But it's at least half dead, that's the point. I damaged its feelings. Its feeling. It only has the one.
Then you hear a scream from down the long hall.
Ah!
It got somebody?
Not this thing. From all you've seen, they have a range of about 5 feet. Plus, their glow flares when they attack, and Big Purple here didn't.
They summoned something. That would be Carl, I presume. It's an alligator. Calling it now.
The red ones sap Pelor for 7, and another 2, but then all the surviving spheres screw off. The red ones escaping down the pit, despite a fierce parting slash from Pelor, and the purple one disappearing into one of those hidden passages in an upper alcove.
Damn! I really wanted to steal one of their spells.
Back down the hall, though, Adria spots the lower half of a person.
Only the lower half?
I think he's dead.
Yeah, I mean, you guys aren't great at recognizing people by their pants, but it's a good bet it was one of the raft guys.
Think it was something he ate?
Jokes aside, where'd it go? The thing that ate him?
Ate half of him. We've still got the lower half.
Yeah, but we heard the scream. That means they weren't swallowed.
Not swallowed by the first bite, anyway.
Well, you can't see any creature from here, but the hallway is lined with alcoves.
Some of which have tunnels.
Seemingly at random. Plus, you could hide something pretty big in any of those fire pits.
But there are no more immediate threats right now.
Not that you can see. Purple fled into some alcove, and the reds went back down the pit, so we can stop counting initiative.
Okay. Adria?
Wah!
What the hell was that? Unarmed, so non-lethal damage. 1d3 plus strength bonus. Take 8. Don't do that again. Seriously though, out of character it's fine. Don't worry about it.
So, who needs healing?
Well, Misho and Adria are fighting.
We're not fighting, it's just an argument. Because she spelled me.
Yeah, it'll happen again too. Adria's a salty bitch, and Misho's not a big fan of spelling.
I may have slight rage issues.
Slight?
But is that an issue? That rage has come in quite handy so far. Hey, is it just me or do we never get any loot?
It takes a while to wind up. There will be loot.
If I can trade magic items for more XP, that's cool with me. My powers occupy actual magic item slots on my body. Like, if I bind something to my hand chakra, I can't benefit from magic gloves.
So, what now?
Do we want to investigate back down the hall around the dead body?
You don't know that he's dead. You can only see the lower half from here. Maybe the other half is fine, wherever it is. No. I was trying to stop those balls from escaping this way specifically because I don't want to get sucked into playing hide and seek in these pits and alcoves.
The door, then?
Thing is, after the torn up body, I don't like the idea of going through that door and having some big-ass horrible monster come up behind us. I'd prefer to find and engage it on our own terms. On the other hand, there's something to be said for avoiding the big horrible monster.
Yes, I vote to avoid. I'm not built for fighting big monsters. I'm better at hiding. I'm also better at hiding.
On the other hand, if we open the door and get sandwiched between this monster and another threat, that's even worse.
Well, let's think this through. Be genre aware. In a horror movie, you hear a scream, somebody died.
You run towards it, and bad things happen.
On the other hand, if you run away,
He's just gonna get behind you and kill you.
Jumps out from around the corner.
I don't like any of this, but we should push forward and find the rest of the crew before something bad happens to them.
That is what we came here for. That and the orb.
Plus, if we are going by horror movie rules, if we find the rest of the NPCs, the monster will probably take them out first, before going for us.
I wonder... Huh? If there is some monster lurking in here, why didn't it kill those two guys until just now? It sounded like they were on their own for hours. Also let us pass that spot unharmed.
Do you think it's connected to whatever put the corpse in that tree?
and left the owlbear head.
You think it wants something other than food? Probably wants the damned orb. Everybody else does.
Maybe it needs to keep some victims alive for some purpose. If its lair is in this place, though, maybe it has something to do with the concentration of the censure. Are we hearing those sounds again?
Really? I jumped down the pit to get away. No.
This is a heavy door. If we can get through, Maybe we can barricade it from the other side.
You try to push on the door, but find that it resists being opened. Almost like it's barricaded or something. Or something.
Let me try.
The door resists significantly.
I push the door really, really not hard, using all 20 pounds of sheer force.
Is there something around we can use as a lever?
I'm gonna just try and push it. Strength check 22. Alright, it is a heavy stone door with a bunch more weight blocking the other side, but Pelor, pushing all on his own, moves it just a little. Enough progress to prove that it's possible.
Oh, well, if we're just pushing, pretty sure I can help.
It was clear that the two burly adventurers could eventually push past whatever was blocking the door, but it was slow going, even with the help of the others. So as soon as the thick stone slab moved far enough to reveal just a crack of the space beyond it.
Alright, I warp through the crack to the other side.
What do we do if we hear you screaming from the other side?
If I'm still capable of screaming, then wait about 6 seconds and I'll pop back.
Of course, using that ability ends Misho's turn, so arguably he may not have a chance to scream. Either way, this should be interesting.
Next time on Tales from My RPG Campaign. I think I'm starting to see a pattern here. We've got all these snake carvings, then 3-foot tunnels for big snakes, then this huge round tunnel for...
You think the monster came up from this giant hole?
I'm totally here for exploration and such, but I do not want to meet a snake of this magnitude.
Maybe they didn't finish all the sculpting because the snake got hungry. Snakes? Why did it have to be snakes?
Snakes are better than spiders. Spiders can come from friggin' anywhere.
Also, spiders have 8 legs. Snakes have no legs. Or, like, one big leg?